Good morning, everyone. My name is Glenn Swain. Welcome to Seaside Center. And as your speaker this morning, I have a very unique position in that I come here this morning and I know who my audience is. I know that we have one minister and ministers in training, so that's what I'd like to speak to today, this ministerial path that we've been called to be a part of. And I want to talk about the calling. This is the name of my talk today, is called The Calling. You know, it reminds me actually of that 1960s song. What's that? I think we're alone now. That's what we are, right? Doesn't seem to be anyone around. So we're going to talk about what it means to be a minister. What is a minister? What is the role of a minister? And also, I think more importantly, how is ministry showing up in our lives today? So you all ready for this? You good to go? You have a choice? You're here. You might as well. Might as well while you're here. I think whether it's an enlightened, a numinous moment, or an unceasing whisper over time, I think that when the call of a minister comes to someone, it immediately starts this recipe for a loving and compassionate servant. The word minister actually has its roots in Latin, which it really means to serve, a servant, or to attend to. So administer is mean to minister to someone. I think in many ways the call to ministry can be compared to the ancient myths and stories around miraculous births, in that there is a divine idea planted in the mind, there is an expectancy for this divine birth, and then in due season, this divine birth, this divine idea is produced, and I think produced in a way of a minister. It's said that a minister's job is to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. And I think that aptly describes a wide range of the human condition that a minister must have. I think we must navigate from moment to moment, I think, with people. There are professions that claim to be of service, and they certainly are, but I don't think I can think of anyone more important, I think, than a minister as far as an inward journey for someone to go. Carl Jung talked about this when he said, we cannot take people as far as we have not gone ourselves, right? And I think this aptly describes the path that we are all on. I think the deeper the practitioner of this art goes, the more profound their journey is. Of course, the more profound the journey will be for their congregants, okay? So this week I've been thinking about what is a minister? What is our roles? I've come up with two things. One is a way shower, and the other is being a presence. Dr. Holmes, back in March 1955, sat down and wrote this thing called The Calling, the Call to Ministry, and many of y'all may have it in your archives. And I just want to read just a quick little part of it here. It says, you as a leader must be one who leads people into the realization of some hope, some inward awareness, that by some different instinctive knowledge they already possess, but they haven't experienced it and put it into words or into reality. It's Dr. Holmes from 1955. So I believe that we are in the truth game. We are here to reveal this divine truth through us, as us, to others. And I was thinking about this the other day. You know, this is not a priestly order here. We're not having people come in and confess to us and send 3 Hail Marys and send them off. We are here, I think, as ministers to midwife people into finding their true essence. Thomas Trower talked about this when he said the true realization of oneself comes with it the responsibility of having others find it for themselves too. So as a minister, we are midwifing people into finding their own inherent self. I think our job as a minister is to have people, show people how to live a God life. So we're a way shower. We're also a presence. Dr. Holmes talked about this also. He said, always be sure that what you talk about, you have thought about until there is a vast amount of, or reservoir of consciousness back of what you're going to say, so that what you say, you think, and you feel. Everything in our field must be an effect of our consciousness, or it will have absolutely no stability. So do I think that we could stand on the stage and be a presence and change somebody's life without even saying anything? You better believe it. I really do believe that. Matter of fact, I've actually seen this happen. It actually happened in this room. I didn't think about this till last night we were here. A couple years ago, me and a friend of mine were here at a Sunday service, and we afterwards we were in the reception line, and Christian Sorensen was there, and Tammy Mars and everybody shaking hands. We went out, and we're in the car, and I'm driving, and my friend says, said that blonde assistant minister, I walked right up here and said that I said, I love you. And I'm going like, well, what'd she say, And he said, well, she said, she loved me too. I said, okay. But my friend was very perplexed by this. He said, why did I say that I love you to someone that I just met? And I found this interesting. He was really wondering about this. I said, that's her essence. As a minister, she has done this. She has done the work. She is showing up in the world as this loving presence. And someone like Tammy Mars, who has done the work, is perfuming this love out into the world. And, buddy, you just got a good whiff of it right there, That's what that was. That was her essence. So as a minister, I think that is what we are striving to be this presence of love for people. When they don't even know you, they love you. So it is up to us. It is we now who are here for others. It is we who have taken on this mantle of being a loving presence. It is we who now shine the light for those in darkness. We are here to help emancipate those who feel captive. So we are here as a soft place to fall, for others. So we're a presence and we are a way shower. Been noticing here about the last month or so how ministry is showing up in my life. And it's showing up in three places. And there are clarity, there is clarity, and there's compassion, and there's also patience that is showing up for me. As far as there's a precision clearness going on, it totally comes from this work that we're doing in this school. That often I feel 3 or 4 steps ahead of people. Are you all feeling that? You can be in a group and you can see someone talking and you kind of know where they're going and you already know how you're going to maybe work with them. So I'm feeling this, it's like an intuition that's going on. I also feel it actually in my writing also. I've been writing some things and it's very clear, very concise where I'm writing something and I'm allowing the other person to save face. I'm heard from what I'm saying and it's all good. And there are times when I'm actually writing, I've noticed the last couple of months, that I feel like I'm actually channeling Ernest Holmes. Got to start writing like him, like in the textbook where you can't really understand it, but you kind of know it. That's me. It usually happens about 5 o'clock in the morning. So the patience is really showing up for me. You may remember a couple of weeks ago we had this big debate in Arizona about the Senate Bill 1062, and it was all over the social media and things. And basically it was a law that would allow people to discriminate on their religious beliefs, really. And thankfully it was, of course, vetoed. A silly law that tried to be made into law. And one day on Facebook, I have a friend of mine in Sedona named Baker. She sends out this little comment about it, and it's a very benign comment about SB 1062. And I wrote back and said, it kind of feels like people maybe have a fear of losing their religion. Losing a little grip on something. There's a fear going on there. And what came back was not from Baker, but a friend of hers. This woman named Shiloh writes back. And she says, no, it has nothing to do with someone losing their religion. We are in a war. They're the oppressed. They're the oppressor. We are the oppressed. And she used a term, by the way, that it really struck me. I don't ever hear this before. She said, we are fighting for our queer rights. I just never heard that before. And I actually went later on to type it out, and I had to figure out how to spell the word. I never used that. So there was a lot of force behind it, a lot of force. We are in a war. We're fighting for our rights. So I write back to her, or a post back on Facebook. I said, I think words vibrate in a way. So I think if we start talking about war, the word vibrates. Can we come up with something else? And she wrote back, she says, no, the energy is already there. We are the oppressed. They are the oppressor. We're fighting for our rights, and we're going to do this, this, and this. We've got to stand up now. And so now I'm kind of having fun with this because now the clarity, remember I talked about the clarity showing up? I can already like 3 steps ahead, I feel like. So I sent back just a Martin Luther King quote that, chisels are terrible, implements to use to carve out a peaceful future. And what I get back was, well, okay, yeah, wars suck, but, we're still in a war. We're the oppressed, they are the oppressor, and on and on and on. So I finally just let it go. And I think, as usual, when someone is speaking of war, they end up attacking people, and she attacked me online. She said I was centered in misunderstandings and naive and the whole thing. I really let it go. I just simply wrote back, said, I want to make sure that there's tolerance and love for everyone. And at least we agreed on that. A couple of days later, I wrote my friend Baker. I said, hey, Baker, I said, your friend Shiloh, is she of younger years? Because I felt like she was. I think Friedrich Nietzsche says the young are the camels who bend down and they allow the load to be put on their back, And I think the young bring on the responsibility of war. So I said, is she of younger years? So my friend Baker wrote back. She said, oh, yes. She has just turned 21. She just come out as being gay. She is full of lesbian wrath, and I must talk to her about this. She said. But the interesting part of that, the real gold, I think, to be mined from that was down below, a little bit farther in the message. She said, by the way, Glenn, she said, you were incredibly patient with her. She said, your love was really shining through. So after all that, I was thinking, that's where ministry is showing up for me. I'm being patient with people. I'm seeing someone maybe flinging out of whack and not being pulled in by it, not being pulled into the argument of it. So it's showing up as love, and my love shining through. And the compassion part, back in December and most of January, I was back home with my mom, back on the farm in Ohio. And I was there. I was able to be with her in a very compassionate place in many ways. She is still, her heart has an anchor for my dad being gone. He died 7 years ago. And one day I was helping her do something in the closet, and I noticed some of his clothes are still in the closet. And I noticed some of his shoes, on the top rack. And I looked a little bit closer, and some of his shoes have mold on them. Mold. That's how long they've been there. And I really felt great compassion, because I'm not even going to try to pretend what that pain must be for someone who's been married to someone for 55 years. Met them when they're like 14. In her 70s now. I'm not going to pretend what that pain is. So I could meet her in that compassionate place and not say, why don't you get rid of this stuff? Not do that. We opened up a conversation about it, and she said, I'm just not ready to do that. I said, okay. But I think my mom needed like 24 hours to process. So I came back the next day from doing some work, came in, and she's cleaning out the closet. Now, there were like 3 pieces coming out and 2 going back in. That's okay, But it's like a little step, and I encouraged her to do that, to take that first step. There were also some things around the electric bill still in my father's name, and some other things on some other bank accounts. And I was talking to her about that. She's saying, I'm just not ready to do that. I said, okay. I asked her, do you feel overwhelmed by this? I'm here to help you do this. Usually I'm there for a week, and I eat a lot, and then I get out of there. I don't see a lot of this stuff. And so I was there as a loving presence for her. And then a couple of days later, she said, let's get the death certificate out. Let's get down to the bank. Let's do that. So I'd open up that place for her to do that and to be a presence for her. So it was a very compassionate place for me to be. And I think that's where ministry is showing up for me also. Think about this ministerial path we're on in the school that we're in. And this is a courageous thing to do, I think. Not many people are showing up to be a leader and not a follower. It's a very courageous thing to do. I think about what we're learning here, and it's really amazing. I think of Reverend Economo, I think it was last fall. She said, this is a sweet season. This is a sweet learning that we're in. And I really embody that. And I also know that it goes by very quickly. Especially this winter term seems very quick. It's almost like we're on these galloping horses that are going really, really, really fast. And it's like the wind is the, quantum physics and all this, church management, all this stuff is flying through us. And it's like we're just really going fast in these horses. These semesters are going back and forth. And it's like the gates of the semesters are closing so fast, they're chopping the tails off our horses. But yet we still do it, don't we? Get to the other side, and there we are again as we enter to the spring. It's just a really courageous thing to do. I want to read something very quickly from Joseph Campbell. You enter the forest at the darkest point, where there is no path. Where there was a way or a path, it was someone else's path. You are now on your own path. If you follow someone else's path, you're only going to realize your own potential. So as ministers in training, I think we are here realizing our own potential. That's what we're doing. Casey, late at night, I didn't plan to do this, by the way. At late night, what's that movie, Oh Brother, Wherefore Art Thou? Catch that? There is a song in that movie that reminds me of ministry every time. And it's sung by Alison Krauss. It's a scene where she's an angel herself, by the way, but these people dressed in white are coming down to the river. I don't even know the name of the song, The River, something like that. And I always think of ministry of that. Actually, I want to sing just a little piece of it. It reminds me of ministry because I think we're very naturally drawn to water because I think life begins in water itself. It began there for very first, so we're drawn to water. So. As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down to the river to pray. As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, brothers, let's go down to the river to pray. Yes, and so it is.